Judge, you can have Prince, you can have Prophecy.
Well, if we were to judge, I would probably have prophecy, but
Okay, I mean I can come in here.
I don't really want this to be that much attention. I'm gonna be like trolling, but well, not trolling. I'm gonna like test an argument. So, it's just gonna be theism is gonna be making an assertion of truth. Where you agree with that?
What do you mean?
So it's gonna be saying that. So when you say theism, right, you're saying that theism is true, correct?
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So the argument just follows: if conceptual error theory is the case, then this position cannot hold. I guess you could say. Obviously, if I deny your conceptual schema, this is gonna be the case that theism cannot
Wait,
be
so
true.
why do you think the air theory is true?
Not error theory, conceptual error theory. I'll just give you the motivation. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
And to clarify, it's just a belief that no statement are going to be true fact.
Wait, do you not think conceptual air theory is a statement?
Well, no sense is my fault, but it's just some sort of diagnostic type of claim, and as in it's like an analyzation of some sort of claims rather than making an assertion. And to say that it's going to be true is going to suppose the meta rule upon it. Right? I don't hold to like conceptual realism or conceptual relativism.
I don't really know what that means. You can explain that. I don't know what that means.
Okay. Well, I said a lot of things. Which part do you not understand?
I don't understand nothing you said. You said something about meta rule. I don't know what is that.
A meta
Okay,
rule.
the
Think of
point.
like
Okay, just for clarity, so we're on the same page. When I say it's a statement, I'm saying that unless conceptual air theory is true, then my position can retain and be true, regardless of if it. Like my point is that if it relies upon conceptual air theory in order for it to be true, that it jeopardizes my position. If it isn't true, then my position can be true.
are you wait repeat that? I was looking not locked in.
So I'm saying that if conceptual air theory as it follows that no statement is truth at, and then conceptual air theory in of itself is a statement or some type of thing that it requires in order for it to work and has to be truth apt. If conceptual air theory is not true, then my position can retain truthness.
Well, I'm not
So
saying that it's going to
it
be
kind of
true.
relies
Right? That's what I
upon
was clear.
what?
My fault. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go on.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm not making some sort of claim about truth. I'm rather making a diagnostic claim. And when I say that,
I,
okay, well, wait. And when I say, well, and when you say, well, okay, well, you're just assigning a true value, that seems to suppose the sort of meta rule of truth, which is going to be in question in the first place due to my
what
argument.
do
So,
you mean by
Wait, listen. I don't want to interrupt, but maybe you should explain what you mean by diagnosis. Maybe that's the
yeah,
problem here.
in that
yeah,
yeah, I don't
yeah,
understand what that means.
just like an analyzation upon some sort of like views and things like that, rather than like an assertion of truth. So, like, think of
Wait,
it like
let me
this.
wait. Can I? Let me just okay before you go on to something else. So when you say diagnostic, you just mean like imagine I were to look at a claim. Like, I'm just looking at what the claim means. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. So like think of it like I'm at the doctor's. The doctor analyzes me to see like what symptoms I have, etc. Things like that. They aren't making some sort of claims. They're just analyzing the things which are
Wait,
wrong about me.
I get it. So
Go on.
do you think this is true that a conceptual error theorist would affirm that, or do you think that's true by virtue of the view?
Well, I wouldn't assert it to be true. I just deny that meta rule. So to
Wait,
say that it's gonna
okay,
be true,
how,
it's to assert the
wait.
meta rule.
I'm confused. If that's something that's not, if that's something a conceptual error theorist wouldn't say, or is it something that's not true to conceptual error theory? Then how does this metal rule invoking thing work? Confused.
Wait, what? Repeat that.
So if a conceptual error, if it's not true, a conceptual error theorist would subscribe to that view, and it's not true that that's true of the conceptual error theorist view or movement, then how does this metal rule point work?
But the meta rule is true. Do you know what a meta rule is?
I mean, by your own semantics, you said it's like looking at a claim. So
No.
I don't
That's what diagnostic claims are. A meta rule is something different than a diagnostic claim. A meta rule is just like, do you know like classical logic modality or logical modality, for example?
so by meta rule, do you just mean like
Some sort
if
of
you
rules
want?
is govern the system, I guess you could say. So, like for example, under classical logic, the meta rules there, which determine possibility and impossibility, would just be, I guess you could say, the laws of thought. Those would govern the
Wait,
possibility and impossibility of the
so do you
system.
deny like those laws? Is that what you mean?
No. I take truth to be a meta rule under conceptual realism and conceptual relativism. I deny that meta rule to say that okay, well you're asserting it to be true would be to presuppose that meta rule.
What? No, no. Well, I'm so confused. So let me illustrate. So when you say something is true, you're saying that like it presupposes truth aptness. Is that what you mean?
I'm not making a claim of truth, but I'm saying that yeah, in order for you to say, for example, that when I'm like asserting conceptual error theory, or if I'm considering a conceptual error theory, which I claimed that I wasn't, right? You're saying, okay, well, you're devolving into a truth claim. Like you're saying it is true that you're doing this. Well, I'm not making a truth claim, right? In order for you to say that I'm making a truth claim, that would suppose your meta rule in the first place, that being truth, which
Wait.
I
So let
don't
me.
hold to those.
Yeah.
And also, I can like deny like this sort of TM relation. Do you know what the TM relation is?
Okay. Before you continue to that point, okay, focusing on this part of the point. Okay, assuming that's the case, then how can you say anything is true or meaningful within a dialect or discussion?
Exactly. That's why I said it would lead us into a debate about conceptual error theory because I just deny any type of truths.
Oh, no, bro. Okay, you're not getting my point. If you deny any type of truth, do you even think it's true? You're a conceptual error theorist.
No, nigga, because I don't hold to that
Wait,
meta rule
how are you taking this view?
because I deny the TM relation, and also
Okay,
I just hold to a different meta rule.
I don't think you're understanding my question. Okay, the question
Oh
isn't
my
supposed.
gosh.
Just to be clear, so you understand the point, the question isn't really supposed to be focusing on like true predicates, but it's rather focusing upon the meaning, like the meaning behind the true predicates, and additionally, like the reductio is how is anything understood if nothing can be true?
How is anything understood? Well, you can firstly deny the TM relation, right? You know, which is why I said, do you want me to explain what the TM relation is?
Yeah, what is that? And
Okay, yeah,
how
wait
does
one sec.
question?
Yeah. I'll just like pull up whatever on my server. One sec.
Are you like reading something like, bro?
I can screen share if you like.
I'm good, bro. I'm good.
Actually, I'll just forward it so you know I'm not like getting it from ChatGPT.
So the T in relation is supposed to explain how
Well, the
you can.
TM relation, just take it like this. It's like a view which Liggins posited, right? The TM relation is just going to be, right, there's two truth rules, right? TN is just going to be if P then P is true. T out is going to be if P is true then P, right? So, yeah. So I can affirm or it could be sympathetic towards the C out relation, but I can deny the TM relation.
Well, hold on. Let me start my phone. My shit about to die. Let me look this view up real quick.
Here, I sent it in general as well.
Actually, there. Let's read this. So complaint coming out. Hmm. Okay. Read this. Wait, where is it at?
It's in general. Do you want me to send it inside chat?
Can't see it.
I'll
Oh,
just send it
I
inside.
see it. So T in, T out. These are two basic truth rules. If P, then P is true. If Snow is white, then the sentence Snow is right. Oh, this is what is this Tarski semantics?
I guess in a sense, right? I just deny the TM relation, but I'm more sympathetic towards the T out relation. So
Wait,
under that view,
chill. Okay, so let me get this straight. So it's just like using meta language to talk about another proposition.
in a sense, right? So like think of it like this: I can assert that snow is white, but I cannot. But I can also not assert that snow is white is true if I deny the TM relation.
Okay. Okay. So are you saying is a T in relation with your argument?
No, I'm arguing the T out. I'm saying that I'm sympathetic towards the T out relation, but I just fully deny the TM relation. Which is for two reasons: one, I don't see a motivation for it, and two, I have an
Wait.
argument for
Wait.
conceptual
What?
error theory. Go
Okay.
on.
So let me. So you don't believe in the T in or the T out.
No, I said I'm sympathetic towards the T out relation.
So if P is true, then P. If Snow is white is true, then Snow is white. And then TN is if Snow is right, then the sentence Snow is right is true.
Yeah, so like they give it like this. If I say I have a pillow in my hands, it is true that there's a pillow in my hands. The sentence that there's a pillow in my hands, that is true. If I deny PN, then that would be false. But if I affirm P and it would be true that if I have a pillow in my hands, then the sentence I have a pillow in my hands is true.
Okay, I don't see. Okay, what's wrong with TN then? I don't see what's the issue with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's why I said I'm gonna give an argument for conceptual error theory. So do you want it?
Sure.
Yeah. One sec.
I read something about this. Let me see. Contradiction. Wait, so do you think it's a contradiction? Like, I'm confused.
Do I think it's a? Are you asking will my argument be like an
Like,
argument from?
I'm saying your view upon truth. Do you think it's a contradiction to say something like, "This is true, is true"?
Well, I think that. Well, I'll like explain it once I get the argument because I don't want to like go into like another side point before I get the argument.
No, I'm not, bro. This is very crucial. I'm confusing it. I'm saying, like, do you think it's a contradiction with this view of truth, like the view of truth I have?
Well, I'm not sure if you're a conceptual realist or a conceptual relativist, but I think that both of them
Okay,
fail to uphold.
the way I cash out truth, at least like most, I'm probably I probably would say I'm a coherentist.
You're a coherentist.
Yeah, I determine truth upon like how well it coheres with like a set of given constraints, a set of given beliefs or theorems or virtues.
Well, that
So
just
like
seems.
yeah, so like for
Go on.
example, I'd probably say like the proposition Max is a dog coheres with a set of given uh constraints or beliefs that pertains to Max being a dog, for example.
Yeah. So okay, so you would say like it's true. Wait, let me give you like an example, and you would tell me if true or false. So like you would say P is true relative to like the law to like the classical logic system if it's in like the constraints of that system.
You said what?
So like I'm gonna give you an example. You tell me true or false. Okay.
Okay.
So let's say P if it coheres to the laws of logic is consistent with the laws of logic, then it's true relative to that system. That's what you take truth to be.
Oh, making sure this is like proper
Mhm.
coherence is okay. Oh, okay. Wait, can you repeat what you said? My fault. I was
Yeah.
with
So
you.
so the example is you would take it if P is coherent given the laws of logic is consistent given them, then it would be true relative to the laws of logic.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Get okay, give an
So,
example. Let
so
me
a
go ahead.
coherent casts out truth is coherence with a specific system of beliefs or propositions. In this view, a belief is true if and only if it is proper fit or necessary constituent within a comprehensive or logically consistent body of beliefs, rather than corresponding to an objective external reality.
Yeah, that
So,
just
like,
seems like a permanent my fault going.
yeah, so obviously a corresponding theory is casts out truth is to be like some type of thing where there's some like metaphysical backing behind why this is true, and the truth maker is some fact in the world. In this case, if I'm a coherentist, I'm just saying it coheres with a set of given narrative. My fault. My fault. Ignore the narrative. Probably I was thinking about something entirely different,
It's
but
good.
with a set of given beliefs,
Well, that just seems like consistent with a
not
conceptual
logic.
relative. Yeah, that just seems like consistent with what like firstly the example that I gave, like a system of beliefs or like propositions. I think you said
Yeah, but you
right.
said logic, like laws
Yeah.
of
So
logic.
like okay, let's say like so would you like just cast that out as like a conceptual schema?
What do you mean by that?
Um, how do I like explain a conceptual schema? Would you be fine if I got someone to explain it, or do you want me to like directly explain it?
Yeah, you can explain it under your own semantics.
I guess so. Just think of it like all the belief in propositions or and things like that, which a given system would assert. So, like, do you know what a conceptual framework is, or like just a framework is?
You can extrapolate.
Okay, a framework like the laws of logic or something like that, or like everything like theism, for example, would be a conceptual schema. Things like that would suppose a bunch of things, will have a bunch of beliefs and etc. That would be a conceptual schema. So this is what I take a conceptual schema to be. Um, but it just seems like that's consistent with conceptual relativism, which my
Or you said,
argument would attack.
wait, you went too fast. You said what?
Which part? What was the last thing you heard?
The conceptual scheme of. No, I didn't hear that. You gotta repeat that. I didn't hear what you said.
Um, sure. It just seems like Okay, that's consistent with conceptual relativism because conceptual relativism says that X is going to be true given some conceptual schema, and if it's going to be true in this conceptual, and if it's going to be true relative to this conceptual schema or something like that, then it's going to be just true, right? As opposed to a realist that's meant to go realist, who just posit that X is going to be true regardless of some conceptual schema.
We just
So it just
posit
seems like that
X is going to be true
relative to a
regardless,
conceptual schema.
regardless or relative,
But with realism or relativism?
relativism.
Relativism says it's going to be true relative to the framework or relative to the conceptual schema.
Relative conceptual schema. Okay, hold on.
And
Give me
realism asserts is going to be true dependent of the conceptual schema.
1 second. Okay.
Okay.
So you're
Do you
saying
have realism?
wait, so your description of a conceptual relative is you just view true as being relative to a specific conceptual scheme. I think you conflated that position with that of a realist though.
Wait,
Because
no, a real.
yeah, because a conceptual relativist will argue that what is true is only true within a given framework, whereas a realist would maintain that truth is objective and independent of any conceptual scheme.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was your point? I'm confused on what you were saying now.
Yeah, because you said that a conceptual relativist views truth as being relative to a specific conceptual scheme, but you conflated that with that of a realist.
Wait, no, I conflated them.
Because
Wait, as in,
because 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 a relativist will only say that something is true within a given framework, whereas a realist would try to say that truth is objective, independent of any conceptual scheme.
yeah. Do you not see that
Like
as
it
a
doesn't
different? Why?
require a specific framework in order for it to maintain its truth.
Yeah, but what do you
So
mean by like conflate them? What do you mean by like I conflated them?
yes, because a relativist is saying that something is only true
I'm not
relative to.
asking. I'm not asking how. I'm asking what do you mean by I conflated them? Like what do you mean by
I'm
conflate? What are your
saying that
semantics?
you were confused upon how I was using it because the
Well,
way
I'm asking.
because the way I'm cashing it out is that I'm probably a conceptual relativist.
Yeah, that's what I would. That's what I said. I said there's no distinction between you and a conceptual relativist, so you would fall under a conceptual relativist. That's
No,
what I said.
but no, bro, because you're using realist semantics to cash that out.
Ow.
Like I'm reading what you said. You said it seems that that's consistent with conceptual relativism. It seems that X is going to be true within some given schema. That's going to be true as opposed to a realist. We just posit that X is going to be true relative to conceptual schema.
Uh, Yeah, this is what I said. I said that you said that truth is going to be relative to like this framework or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I said that's just what conceptual relativism posits. So that's just, like consistent. You're just like a conceptual relativist. But a realist, I explained further, a realist would say that it's going to be independent. I said that my argument attacks both
Just
of
so you
those.
know, I'm not. Just so you know, like this is what you say. Like I'll put your shit in Google. If that's what you said, word for it.
I mean, I don't really see the contention here. Like I said, I have an argument against realism and relativism, and you posit
Okay,
relativism.
okay. So how do you contend with relativism then?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I'll just give the argument for conceptual arity, which just attacks both of them. I can give you the simplified version as well. Look inside chat.
Okay, let's see. So either realism or conceptual relativism is true, or conceptual error theory is true. If realism is true, then truth T exists from any conceptual scheme. If relativism is true, then truth T exists only within the conceptual schemes S. If either, I'm not even going to read this. I'm just going to have something translated.
Just I can just give you the simplified version. That I just like said ChatGPT simplify it. I got you on sec.
This is the full argument. It has the motivation as well. I'm going to just read it. Hold on. I use the bathroom.
You can go because I'm probably gonna go in like a bit anyways. I just didn't want to like I wanted to like try to finish it before.
So, okay. Let me see this shit.
Wait, one sec.
Okay. How do you think the R? How you think? How do you think the RC the RCE deals with Let me see. Hold on.
My shit is lagging. What the hell? Wait, one more time. Let me check.
But I have it break it down. Okay.
Yeah, I think I should be good now.
Okay. So premise. Okay. So do you agree? Premise four says that realism and relativism both require a boundary between what is inside and outside of a conceptual scheme.
Um, I don't think that's necessarily what people are saying. You want me to
That.
extrapolate on P4?
Yeah. What do you think P four is saying?
But P4 is just saying, um, wait, what did you say? I look, he wasn't tracking.
Okay. So P four says, in simplified terms, realism and relativism both require a boundary between what is inside and outside of a conceptual scheme.
Inside and outside. No, it's just saying that it requires a rule to tell us what's going to be like. I guess you could say, um, what is like true given that framework, what's going to be consistent given that view, and what's not
Is
going to be
that
consistent.
what you're saying, or is that what the argument says? Because it says both
What?
depend on defining the boundary between what is and with what is within and beyond the scheme.
Yeah, by
Beyond is
that,
beyond is just used to say that it's not within, meaning
what
it's
I mean by
outside.
beyond, I mean what's not going to be consistent. So like with a conceptual relativist, what's not going to be true is what's not going to be consistent with the given framework or the given conceptual schema. What's going to be true with a realist is going to be what's not going to be actually objectively the case. So given
A,
that,
a-
go on.
Conceptual schemes they don't require rigid boundaries. Schemes can overlap, interpenetrate, or partially translate, and no sharp
Yeah,
scheme
I mean,
slash art.
yeah, okay. So let's say there's like a numerous number, right? There's like a numerous amount of like schemas, right? What's not what that argument, what that would be fine with the argument. What's not going to be consistent with those given schemas is obviously not going to be true relative to those schemas.
Wait, can you repeat what you said?
Yeah, so let's say there's like a numerous amount of schemas, right? And we just classify that under like one schema or something like that
You
because I
said
think
that
that's what you were trying to
there is a numerous amount of what?
schemas because it seems that you were trying to say like there's no rigid boundary.
Yes.
Yeah, so like let's say under that example, let's say that there's multiple schemas or a numerous amount of schemas. With this
Okay.
argument, that would be fine with the argument. Like we would just say what's not going to be true is what's not going to be consistent under all those schemas, or what's not going to be consistent given those schemas.
That would be fine with the argument. You said what?
Yeah, as in the argument would still attack that.
As in the argument would still attack that. And I assume you're referencing P4, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, we can just go on. So to extrapolate upon
P4.
P4 is saying that. Hmm?
Wait, before you give the extra additive motivation, chill out. Okay. Okay.
Wait, I might need to go.
Okay. I don't think relativism needs any of those boundaries in order to retain anything it's trying to say.
But the
Or
boundary
what?
would just be the like meta rule of the system, not being that what's gonna be true is gonna be the given system, what's not gonna be consistent in it.
Yeah,
So
but it
like,
only attacks one version of relativism, though. The one
well,
that
that's just
assumes hard scheme slash real boundaries. But a relativist doesn't require that as a whole. Like it doesn't like relativism as a whole doesn't need that view.
But what do you like define relativism as then? Because it seems like you would be redefining the term. Because all relativism is just that truth is going to be what's going to be consistent given a conceptual schema. So in order for us to have so that's going to be a meta rule in itself,
Okay.
and that's what it's going to be
So
saying.
relativism, under my view, is just a view that truth depends on the conceptual scheme, framework, or culture or standpoint, and it's not absolute across all of them.
Yeah. Okay. So that would be a meta rule. So that would be what requires X to be true. X has to be true if it fits those criteria.
You said that. You said that's a meta rule.
Yeah, that would be like
Yeah,
the rule.
that's the whole point.
Mhm.
Okay. A meta. So let me get this straight. So is a meta rule just all truths must be evaluated inside a conceptual scheme?
That would be like the meta rule given the system that for X to be true has to be whatever you said, like the conceptual whatever you said about it, like consistent with the conceptual scheme, blah blah blah. So yeah, that's just like what it
Okay,
means for
so is this referring to the appliance of truth, or this is talking about
what
what
it
we
means
use?
for X to be how X has to be true. What makes X true? So like the
Oh,
rules
okay,
for X to be
okay.
true.
Well, okay. Okay, are you saying like an appliance, or what we use to talk about truth?
The appliance, I guess you could say.
Okay, no.
So
So relativism equaling truth depends on a conceptual scheme. Just talks about what we can use to talk about truth, not us saying how you apply truth.
well, by
So
apply
my
there, I
definition.
just mean what I
Wait. So my definition is a meta level description, not a meta rule inside the system itself.
well by meta rule,
Now,
I just
so
mean what it.
all that means, bro. All that means is that a relativist, under my view, or the way I'm casting on relativism here, doesn't require a meta rule in order to talk about truth. Because remember, I'm not referencing the appliance. I'm just referring to the position that you would use to talk about truth.
Well, when I said appliance there, I just like said that because it fits what I was saying. That's but by meta rule there, I just mean like okay, well, for X to be true, right, it has to be given the conceptual schema is consistent with the conceptual schema. Do you agree? Or
You
the
said what?
culture, whatever you said, blah blah. For
You
X to
said
be
for
true, it
X
has
to
to
be
be
true, it has
relative.
to be conceptual schema.
Yeah, and like the culture, whatever you said, blah blah. If not, that's just a redefining of conceptual relativism. And if you agree upon that, that's just the meta rule itself. That just like for X to be true, it has to do this. So it would be a meta rule itself.
The
Yeah, but
big Embers is going to win.
I'm not saying
Shut
you're not.
up!
I don't
The
think you're
big
understanding.
Embers is winning.
So,
Shut up!
We
so
can get good on this point if you don't
I
think I'm
agree that
understanding.
meta rules. I
This
agree
nigga
that
King
meta.
acting up.
I agree that meta
Fuck,
rules
man.
can, bro. Can you
Yeah,
shut up?
chill, 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 chill.
You
Anyways,
gotta do.
if you don't think like I'm understanding, we can conclude here. It might be an issue on my part, maybe. Bro.
I'm gonna just no. I'm gonna just say one last thing. So let me get it straight. You say that for everything X, it has to have a meta rule to be true. Wait, what you said?
For these two systems, like the meta so realism and conceptual relativism. So conceptual relativism for X to be true, it's has to be consistent or whatever, blah blah, to the given conceptual schema and like cultures, etc. Well, blah, whatever it requires. So that's a meta rule in itself. That is the meta rule. So for X to be true, it has to fulfill these conditions.
I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, we can conclude on this one. I don't really
Yeah,
think you understand.
yeah. Okay. I think you're confused on what I'm saying because if all meta rule
It's
uses
fine.
me about anything to be true, it requires a scheme first. I'm just referencing like the way you describe it, like the way you use it formally in language. Like I'm not saying that like a meta rule is like okay. You want to conclude?
Why are we confused on meta rule?